Smooth 98.1. It's Rotus and Zibby with you this morning. As always, we love to get your thoughts and what you're thinking. 0809 4440981. That's the WhatsApp number. You can also tweet at Smooth981 and catch the live stream as well. We're streaming live on our YouTube channel. It's Smooth 981 FM Lagos. We're talking about the inauguration speech and its effects. In fact, it did lift the Nigerian stock exchange. Rotus, good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Zibby. Good morning to all our YouTube viewers, listeners out there. Good to be with you all again. Is this hump of the week? Yes, this is the hump of the week Wednesday, right?
Yeah, hump of the week. Okay. So, Rotus, how did the stock exchange perform yesterday?
Performed pretty well. I mean, it was a 5.2% gain on the exchange yesterday. We haven't seen that one-day return for almost 2 years. So in there are a number of terms they use. The market popped, or the market was ripping, or the market was on a tear. So yeah, it was. And you think about this, right? It's okay. We had a holiday on Monday. The markets were closed. Yeah. So logically, it's okay. What happened? What could possibly have led the market to just pop on a Tuesday morning? Nothing special happened on Friday, the previous week. So that's what it gets you thinking. What could possibly have happened? So what else was happening on a public holiday that could lead the market to jump like that? It had to only be one thing and one person and what that one person said. So that's essentially what we saw yesterday.
Wow, interesting. So can you put yesterday's market performance against how it performed last week, just for context?
Yeah, so for context, CB, the whole of last week, Monday through Friday, the market gained 1.5%. That's the entire Monday through Friday of last week, right? And year to date, that is year to date ending Friday last week. So from January all the way through to May 26th, the market was up 3.3%, right? So the gain we saw yesterday of 5.2% not only eclipsed the gains of the whole of last week, it's pretty much eclipsed the whole gain that we've seen so far this year. So year to date now, the market is over 8%, right? So that's, to put it in context, that just shows you how well the market performed yesterday. The deals were up about 50-something%. The volumes, I think, up over 100%. So it was, it was pretty healthy yesterday.
Wow. All right, let's take a walk back in time. Let's moonwalk a bit, really. Does this in some way mirror what we saw when Buhari was elected in 2015? Right.
Yeah. And Nairametrics has I thought they've got a very clever term. So if you've got when the market is healthy and the market is popping, you call it a bull market. And then when the market is falling, you call it a bear market. So it's the bulls versus the bears. So you'll say the market was bullish today, it was up. If it was bearish, yesterday it was down. So it's the bulls versus the bears. And so Nairametrics called it a Buhari effect back in 2015. And then funny enough, for Tinubu, they called it, I think, a Tinubu effect yesterday. So when the INEC announced him as president back in 2015, the market popped 8%, Zibby, 8%. It went on to maintain gains for about 10 straight days. I mean, it was massive. But unfortunately, it later started to fall because he didn't put his cabinet together for about 6 months. He didn't, so the thing ended up falling. But at least for that, when he was announced as the winner, and then 10 days following, the market popped for President Buhari back in 2015.
So this market performance is being attributed to the president's inauguration speech. What did he specifically say that actually made the stock market investors react in such a positive way?
Yeah, and you see, Zibby, this is why language is important. And remember, the morning of the speech, we spoke, and I said to you, Zibby, it's important that he is specific to investors. It's important that he's specific to the market. It's important that he lays out his economic agenda at this inauguration speech because so many people will be watching. We talked about it that morning. And specifically, here's two things he said. He said, I have a message for our investors, local and foreign. our government shall review all their complaints about multiple taxation and various anti-investment inhibitions. He continued, he said, we shall ensure that investors and foreign businesses repatriate their hard-earned dividends and profits home. That second statement, I mean, you couldn't get more specific than that in terms of repatriation, which is being able to, for a foreign investor that brings their dollars or pounds into Nigeria, when you make your profits or make your loss, whatever happens, you should be able to take your naira that you've earned or lost, convert it back to your currency and go home without to go on holiday or do whatever it is that you want to do. So there has been an issue with repatriation of funds. Airlines have been complaining about it. You buy tickets and your local currency, but it has to be converted back to their own currency or dollars so they can take it out. There have been repatriation issues because of foreign exchange illiquidity. So for him to target that and specifically use the word repatriation,
right,
it was a green light for the investors that, okay, the president wants to add dollar liquidity and he wants us to be able to get our money. And so it was very, very encouraging. Now, that's talk, or, Zibby, you have to follow up with action.
That is true.
Well, at least see what he said, he said what the investors wanted to hear.
Are you optimistic?
Look, we don't have a choice. I have to be optimistic because I want foreign exchange liquidity. I want a better life for, Nigerians in general. So, he talks a good game, right? He's a very confident person. I would even go as far as saying he's a very arrogant person, and he's just, you think of what his antecedents in the nation, he just really feels like, okay, I'm going to get this done. So you kind of want that at this particular time. You want a confident president who is saying, I will do this and that. So Zibby, my fingers are crossed. I'm gonna hope for the best.
Okay, 0809 444 0981. That's the WhatsApp number. Let us know what your thoughts are. You can also tweet at Smooth981 or even post a comment underneath the live stream up on our YouTube. Just search for Smooth981. Let's talk foreign participation in the stock exchange. What has it been like in the past 8 years?
Yeah, it's been poor. President Buhari basically chased foreign investors in fact, both foreign direct investment and foreign portfolio investment. He chased them out because of the fact that he would not unify the exchange rates. He maintained multiple exchange rates. People didn't know. But he allowed oil theft to thrive under him, which robbed Nigeria of being able to sell oil, which meant that we had less dollars coming into the country. And because of foreign exchange illiquidity, people couldn't get their money out, right? So I saw some figures, but I should even forward this chart to you just in case you're curious. Let me send this over to you. If you see the participation, it's like a chart that just dives downwards, right? So foreign participation in 2015. Do you see that? You see how the arrow goes down? Yeah. So on the chart, right? So from 53% in 2015 all the way down to 8% as of April of this year. I mean, think about that, Zibby. So, and for your markets to be, look, it's not a bad thing if domestic investors carry the load. Most of what we've seen has been, local investors, right? Which is good. But foreign investors bring in foreign money, right? And even though for the portfolio part, the money may not stay here very long, but at least it adds juice to your market. You want more people buying stocks now. The more people that demand your stocks, the more the stock price will go up. And, the more money companies make from that, they can raise funds. So that's the issue. They've fallen. Foreign investors have not been able to get their money out. So they're like, look, I'm not doing this anymore. Did
the COVID-19 pandemic play a role in this?
Yeah, if you look at 2020, you'll see but the drop started, Zibby, the drop started since 2018. It was 50%,
50%,
right?
50.8, yeah.
Right, 50.8. It fell. In fact, even before 20, look at the drop from 2015 to 2016, right? I know there was a recession that year. It dropped to 44%. It's been dropping since 2018. 2019, it dropped before COVID. Then 2020, it dropped again. So, yeah, COVID may have played a role, but you can buy stocks electronically. You don't have to touch anybody. You can social distance while you buy stocks. Right. So, yeah.
Wow. All right, Ladele says, please, I want the chart. Well, you know what you can do, Ladele? Just tweet at Rotan and he will send you that chart.
Rotan. Let me spell that for people. So it's ROTANKWOT on Twitter, and I'll tweet it out, and then you can take a look at the chart. But yeah, big drop.
Wow. All right. So there's been a link that has been drawn between the fuel subsidy statement yesterday and the performance of certain stocks. Do you think we could dive into that a little bit?
Yeah, so three particular stocks, Eterna PLC, Corn Oil, and Total. These are all players in the downstream. Well, Total is one of the biggest oil companies. They're upstream, they're downstream, they're everywhere. But they all, at least we can focus on downstream. That is, after you've refined your petroleum, you now start to sell lubricants, you sell oil for your car engine, you sell PMS. These three stocks in particular, or these three companies are players in the downstream sector. And they were ripping yesterday. I mean, where are the numbers now? Eterna PLC closed at 7 naira 70 kobo. It was up 10%. Corn Oil closed at 52 naira 70 kobo, up 9.9%. Total was up 9.4%. On a typical day, you have maybe one or two stocks closing at 10%. This one, yeah, and this was just oil and gas, so Zibby. I didn't get into Zenith, UB, other stocks that just ripped yesterday. And the thinking is this: he has said, okay, no more fuel subsidies. And what that means is he's removed the cap on profits for these companies. Because remember, you cannot sell fuel for more than 185 or 186. So if you remove fuel subsidies, I know on the flip side, for you and I and other people who have cars, your fuel, you will buy fuel for maybe 3 or 4 times what you pay now. But that means that the companies that you are paying money to buy your fuel, their profits that they earn will possibly go up, and that is a good thing for investors. So investors are like, oh, okay, let's buy these stocks for these particular companies because we see their profits increasing down the line. That's basically it,
Right.
That's basically it, yeah.
Okay, still speaking about fuel subsidies, though, there was a press release put out by the NLC. Are you surprised?
No surprise. They said, I think the press release, the title was "Don't Dare the People," and they said, Tinubu didn't consult with stakeholders. I mean, look, you know the labor unions. And look, we expect a fight, right? Back when President Jonathan tried to remove subsidies in 2012, I remember I had still started a new job at a company. I was supposed to start beginning of January, and my resumption was postponed for a week because of the strikes and protests. So Tinubu should expect a fight. But remember, President Tinubu said during the campaign, he doesn't care if anybody protests. It's gone. The money just is not there. So although, to be fair to the labor union press union, the NLC press release, they did say that, look, what about palliatives? What about how you cushion the blow? So that was a fair argument, and he does have to explain that as time goes on.
All right. Let's go on to WhatsApp to see the messages. This one's from Yinka. He says the phrase you need to use is arrogantly confident, and funny enough, I like it. That's what we need at this point. I think this is the first time we'll have a finance person on the Iron Throne. I'm optimistic. On the fuel queues, I'm going to be buying at 450 naira later today because I can't burn man hours on queues, and I just have to adjust my movement, and that is a fact. No.
So do you see that? Do you see that? I mean, and thank you, Yinka, and for the message. So you can see Yinka he's not happy that he has to pay that much, but he's confident, or rather optimistic, that okay, down the line, fuel supply will be fine. So what we should hope for, all of us, is that no more fuel scarcity in Nigeria going forward. It just it's got to end, because now you've liberated the downstream sector. Dangote refinery is coming on stream. There should be no more fuels. We're an oil producing nation. So I know we're out of time, but that's part of the cautious optimism for the future.
All right. Yes, we are. But I want to ask one last question, though, with regards to everything that we've seen with the stock market and the general optimism. What does this say about the power of the president's office and leadership in Nigeria, and how it relates to the business environment?
The president's words have huge power, and if he says the right things and follows it up with action, you can have a thriving business environment. None of this stuff is rocket science. Yeah, Osibanjo, former vice president, always said, look, government just has to create an enabling environment and then get out of the way of the private sector. Let us do our thing. So hopefully this just shows the market is showing confidence, and President Tinubu just has to follow up with the fuel. I heard he reported to Aso Rock yesterday. He had a meeting with the CBN governor in Mefile. He had a meeting with Mele Kyari of the NNPC. So he looks like he started work, but we got to see, he has to mention that cabinet, and he's got to follow up with his encouraging words. Fingers crossed, Zibby. Yeah.
Fingers crossed indeed. One last message. Zikolo says, I just bought petrol for 450 naira per liter now. It is well.
Wow. Wow.
It's here.
Wow. It's here. Oh, it's here.
Well, that is all the time that we have for Business Express this morning. Thanks for listening. Thank you for your messages. And of course, thank you, Rotus. Have a brilliant day ahead.
Thanks, Zibby. See you guys tomorrow.
That is all the time for Business Express. Do stay with us. There's a lot more to come on the Smooth Breakfast.